Damn it. Hell yeah. All right. Hold on, hold on. All right. I should be on live right now. You should be able to hear me. Hopefully y'all can hear me. So shout out everybody. We're gonna start like mid channel. We here with another good live, another video, whatever. This should help out a lot of people and help a lot of people out. Let me speak close to the mic just in case, cause sometimes I know you can't hear me. Um, so in this video we're gonna talk about how to deal with addictions. This should help a lot of people. People that are trying to, of course, physically overcome their addictions, learning how to put themselves into a new space where they don't have to be so attached to those addictions and stay in those negative patterns, especially when it's harming them. Understanding the difference between moderation and addiction, and also most importantly, understanding the addiction on a deeper level, whether we talk about spiritually or esoterically or internally, why we have these addictions in the first place and how they manifest and whatnot. But let's get right into it. So, how to deal with addictions, of course. Um, the first thing I want to say, and there's many different types of addictions. The first thing I want to say, excuse me, no matter what type of addiction or type of addiction you have at the moment, whether that's a sexual addiction, um, and sexual addiction can take many forms. Whether that's a sexual addiction that you have that you can't get out of, whether that's a alcohol addiction, whether that's a drug addiction, whether it's a negative habit you're doing like gambling, whatever negative addiction, because it's probably thousands and hundreds of different addictions that people have that they deal with. But this is how you can go about it. So first thing you gotta understand certain things first. Number one is fulfilling your time, aka staying busy. From a spiritual point of view, all of us spirits are always trying to fulfill our space, always trying to fulfill our time. And so therefore, when we don't physically actually fulfill our time and stay busy throughout our own wake lives and in our own lives, what a lot of times what happens is we'll manifest doing things that sometimes even play out as negative just to end up fulfilling our time, since we're not consciously putting in energy work and putting in the time throughout our day that we need to, with all the positive things that we're trying to do, or things that help us get money, or the things that help us sustain ourselves in this from reality, whether from a spiritual point of view or physically getting money, a career, whatever. When we not physically, it could be health or anything, when we not physically taking fulfilling our time and staying busy with what we need to do in our lives to better ourselves, that those boxes are void, those spaces are void, so they're unfulfilled. So a lot of times by default, subconsciously, it's crazy, but it plays out as a lot of times negative things, negative addictions, negative habits will fulfill that space, since we're not constantly putting energy work and putting that the positive stuff in that space, the stuff that we need to focus on in our life. So it'll play out as like stuff that waste our time, like entertainment, but overly entertainment to the point where we waste our whole time. It's not making us no money. Bad sexual habits just to fulfill desires. Drugs because we either into escapism and we bored, or we trying to cope with something that we're dealing with. Which there's a science to drugs. I'll do a video on that too one day. But I'm talking about when they negatively is overtaking a person. Um, you always want to be in this space where you fulfilling your time. The more that you fulfill your time and you stay busy, a lot of times your whole day go by and you'll be so busy doing everything else and taking and building and working on your career, building and working on the job that you're doing, taking care of this money thing, trying to build more money, trying to create a business for yourself, trying to work on your own health, your physical health, trying to work on your spiritual health, doing internal exercise, meditation, yoga, whatever you're doing in your life. You filling up so much time throughout your day on a percentage level of you fulfilling your time and staying busy and doing the things that you need to do in your own life, that you'll find yourself having less time to even do the drugs and get lost into that in the first place, and now you won't find yourself doing it as much, and then B, you will find yourself not even needing it as much, because you'll realize that you just use those drugs for a crutch just to get by, because a lot of times you was bored. And that, no matter what kind of addiction, you're not even just drugs, it's any addiction, you were just doing that as a crutch because you was bored at the moment and you wanted to satisfy and fulfill yourself, aka you wanted to fulfill that space. But since you weren't physically putting in conscious effort into fulfilling that space, negative habits end up filling up that space because you weren't actually putting in your own energy work into fulfilling that space and fulfilling your own time. So negative habits get birthed out of that a lot of times. Let me hear it because my phone's starting to overheat. But um, another thing you want to understand is, and if my phone go out, y'all, my phone go out because of overheat. I'll make a part 2 to this, but let me try to do the best I can. So hold on. All right, hopefully I'm still here. Hopefully I'm still here. Hopefully I'm not choppy. Hopefully I'm not choppy. Choppy. Hold on one second. I'm trying to blow my phone down. Sorry. Every time because everyone be out. But anyway, getting back to it, let me hurry up. I'm gonna day. So basically, next thing I want to talk about is internal world fulfillment. In other words, your internal world. A lot of times, what we lack on the inside, we try to mask up and cope with on the outside. So a lot of times, aka say we don't have no inner. Let's use some internal energies like imagination. These are big ones. Imagination. We don't have our own world. We don't have no internal light and life within inside of us. It'll manifest and play out is us trying to go out and get other things outside of us to fulfill what we lack inside. This is another way you could say that fit into that terms of fulfillment. But a lot of times when we in situations in our life where we lack within, this is what I talk about enlightenment, inner light. When we lack energy within, we try to find that and cope with that on the outside in the physical world. But a lot of times when you go within yourself more so, you'll realize that you have everything that you need with inside of you. A lot of times, the only reason why you have certain drug habits in the first place is something that you feel like you lack in the inside. Even if what you lost took place in the physical world, it's still something that you feel like was a part of you for you to feel like you lost it in the first place. So by doing certain internal practices and going within yourself, start by going within, whether that's meditations you do, different imaginative meditations you do, meditations that focus on your emotions and feelings, meditations that's focused on you going within yourself and seeking guidance, seeking knowledge, because everything you have within you, then these can lead you to better paths in your life that lead you to stuff where you won't need those physical external crutches, or it could lead you to better paths where more healthier crutches in your life in general that you can use to deal with those energies that you feel like you lack. But moving on, and this is pretty much the last one, but the most important one I say is finding other ways to transmute your energy and find other practices you can do to reach natural highs. What I mean by finding other ways to transmute your energy, I mean that in every little way. So whether you have a sexual addiction, whether it's a self-pleasure, self-loathing addiction, you can't stop playing with yourself, or whether it's a sexual addiction where you can't stop having sex itself and intercourse in general, or whether it's a sexual addiction where it's a hooker thing, it's a prostitute, you can't stop, you know what I'm saying? And that's the case, then you got to learn how to transmute your own sexual energies and learn that there's other ways to go about dealing with your sexuality and sexual energy in general, that it doesn't have to be such a negative habit induced by it. You see what I'm saying? There's other way that you can go about your sexual energies. You see what I'm saying? And I'm gonna do a video on that too. But learn that, and when you go on that path, things unfold anyway, and your spirit will show you ways that you can do that too, because everybody has their own individual path. Another thing that I mean when I say find other ways to transmit your energy is like, say the reason why you're on drugs is because you went through a deep heartbreak, or you went through like a loss of a loved one or somebody. There's ways that you can. It's always easier said than done, but there's a certain ways that you can transmute that energy and put those energies into other areas. Now that don't mean that you can't feel bad about yourself and you can't spend that time to yourself and utilize whatever you need. But slowly but surely, the more you learn to transmute that sadness energy, that hurtful energy, and put that into, whether it's a creative craft, or put it into something that make you feel good in a positive way, something that's productive, that you can either make revenue off of, or that you feel like is a creative endeavor that you could put out there to the world. You see what I'm saying? Something that is a growthful thing that you can grow on, that you can build on, whether it make money or not. Something like that. That'll be a good way to transmute that. And then lastly, what I mean when I say find other practices, because this is the most important. When I say find other practices you can do to reach natural highs, is a lot of times what people don't realize, that they get lost in the drugs because they feel like they need something, an external substance outside of them, to make themselves feel good. But a lot of times there's a lot of internal practices, and this is the most important one right here. There's a lot of internal practices that you can do to reach those highs too, that you realize you don't need to go without your go outside of yourself to find these things and find something in the external world. So some of those things consist of like deep breathing, like pranayama. Those are ways that you can get natural high, and the more you master that breath and you train it, because everything is like a muscle. You train everything mentally, soulfully, spiritually. The more you train with pranayama and deep breathing, the more you can tap into further levels of consciousness. Your own body produces DMT in the lungs and in the brain. I think I want to say the pineal gland. That's like the third eye center, and we emit this when we go to sleep. So DMT is a drug. It is a psychedelic externally, but it's also something we naturally have within ourselves that our body produces too. So that's very interesting too. But by doing pranayama, aka deep breathing, you can start off slow, do it for a short period of time, a minute, 2, 3 minutes to 5 minutes. Then the more you go into it, you do deeper breaths. You learn different. They got fire breathing, that's like fast paced breathing. They got water breath, that's the slow inhale, and you're tapping into different levels of conscious, different brain waves. You see what I'm saying? By doing these different breaths, they got box breathing. That's like a earth breath because it's stable and it's structured. Um, you see what I'm saying? Different elements. There's different ways you can do this breathing, and the more you do it, the more, the longer you learn you could do it, the more you're gonna tap into that realm where a lot of people even say it's like a psychedelic experience, and I can test by myself. It's definitely gives you a natural high, but you have this ability to do within yourself that you don't need to go out and get a drug for. But other things, like I say, meditation in its purest form in general, the same thing with meditation. When you learn to do meditation, you could do it for shorter period of times and then build on a longer period of times. The more and longer you end up doing your meditation, you're gonna realize that over time you end up going deeper into deeper states of consciousness with your meditations, right? And you become more aware. You have more conscious awareness of what's going on, but also more subconscious awareness within you. You start learning yourself more things in your own life, since you are putting a more percentage level into being into your own true space, because meditation puts us all into our true space. You're going to manifest more things in your life that deal with the energy signature of what actually resonates with you. More people, places, and things that resonate with you, whether that's a relationship, whether that's just acquaintances and friends and peers that you can connect with, that you can maybe network with, that but they resonate with you and know your frequency and your resonation, your vibration. Whether that's the actual place that you manifest having to be moving to, but that place in general, that vortex, that energy signature, that grid, that ley line manifests and resonates with you as a person, so things go more so in your favor. Or it's a situation where it's a thing that you could have, that whenever you practice that thing, whatever you do that thing, that creative endeavor, that art, whatever it is whatever that thing is that manifests in your life, whenever you do it, it taps you into your truest state. It puts you into your own natural state of being, because we all have our own natural state of being, aka what causes you to feel good, what causes you to feel peaceful. You see what I'm saying? And what makes you feel good, what resonates with you. And these are good ways of how to build the energy of being your truest self too, which I made a video previously about. But there's also other ways to go about it too. Um, there's certain, like you talk about, like qigong, same thing, different words that they use, but qigong, the same thing. Um, Certain forms of yoga are really good. There's certain forms of yoga are more spiritual than others and tap you into your psyche and subconscious a little bit more than others, and your internal realm more than others. Um, I already said qigong. Like you can say tai chi too, but like I said, everything is on percentage levels. The deeper you go within them, the deeper that you start to understand and learn these things. Even dealing with certain elements gonna make everybody feel different and feel better than others. Some people, their spirit may resonate more so with the water element. So going to a pool, going to the beach, sitting by a river, putting your feet in the river, getting in the river itself, being by the lake, fishing. You see what I'm saying? Getting your feet wet, just like being in the water in general is gonna resonate with some people, because their alchemical spiritual makeup is consistent of close relativity to the water element, so it's gonna make them feel better. Some people it's fire, being around a fire, staying warm, being in heat, aggressive exercise. It Cause all those deal with the passion and fire element in such a form, dealing with their visions and imagination, because that's fire too, is gonna make them feel better. Same way with the water. I meant to say the internal part of the water would be like dealing with their emotions and feelings. Um, Air is like thinking and analyzing, or anything that deal with like knowledge, low key, to be honest. Um, and any type of relating things that deal with the throat chakra, talking and communication with others, and relating to some shape or form. And lastly, some people resonate with the earth element. Going outside physically, grounding, being around trees, being around nature, that makes them feel good. That puts them in their own natural true state of being. It makes them feel good. Like I got some family members that they like being out in nature, being around the animals, and that they make me feel good too. I got different ones. They make me feel real good too. And some people, like I said, more than others. But then on the internal side of the earth element, they might not only like to go outside and ground and be nature, but doing certain things physically, like dealing with the body, like exercise as a whole, yoga as a whole, anything dealing with the physical body. When they do physical things with their body, they tend to feel better. You see what I'm saying? Um, I meant to say with air, also going outside, being around the breeze, being around the air conditioner, being around the vent, going into up into the mountains, being close. You see what I'm saying? Places that deal with higher climates, higher altitudes, more dry climates in general. These are all tapped into the air element. Flying, being on planes, doing things that deal with aircraft. You see what I'm saying? All these deal with the air element. And of course, deep breathing would directly fit into that too. But there's many ways to go about things that could put you into a space that make you feel good, that put you into a state of being of feeling good, that put you into the state of being in a peaceful, you see what I'm saying, energy. Which most things that put us in a peaceful energy are what resonates with us the most, because it's putting us into calmness and peaceful. Things that make us feel chaotic and have to think a lot, even if we don't think it's bad, but we have to think a lot in it, and it's like a lot of emotions and feelings tapped into it, and it doesn't give us that space of clarity. It doesn't give us that space of being at peace, at ease. That really don't resonate with us, and there'll be chaos manifested from that if we stay in that state of being long enough. But it's an uphill battle for all of us, because we all learning to do things that resonate more so with us on the percentage level. You see what I'm saying? And with that being said, that's pretty much it. But those are practices. There's many different practices. You got to find the practices that work for you. But I'm just saying, there's many different internal practices that can help you reach a higher state of consciousness when you're trying to stave off of certain drugs. When people go deep into the rabbit hole, you could say it's kind of too late for them. But if they can learn to be on those drugs and still equipped and learn some of the stuff that they can naturally do, I think it'll ultimately help. So instead of them doing drugs 8 times a day, they start doing the normal practices that tap them to higher state of consciousness. They might only need it 7 times a day. Then they keep doing longer, they might need it only 6 times a day. Then one day they might really get deep into the practices and learn they can only need it drugs like what 5 times a day. See what I'm saying? And they can slowly wean themselves off. And even if they never get off of it, they'll still be in a situation where they're not on it as much, so it's not taking that much of a detriment and toll on their body. But with that being said, I think y'all hopefully y'all got the message and stuff like that, and y'all can relate. Everybody's not on addictions, but I'm just saying, if you are on an addiction, or if you're ever gonna be in a situation where you're addicted to something, there are better ways that you can go about it. You just have to understand, because once you know better, you can do better. And knowledge is really the key there, all to all things to an extent. So with that being said, I'm gonna go ahead and get up out of here. This is how to deal with addictions. Fulfilling your time, going within yourself more, and diving into your internal realm, and find other ways to transmute your energy, and find other practices you can do to reach natural highs within trying to find them outside of yourself. Right? All right. And with that being said, peace out. Wait, real quick before I leave. Sorry, I had to say one more thing. Um, so like, say I want to touch on the sexual topic. So like, if you have a sexual addiction, what I mean by finding other ways to transmit your energy, I'm gonna just say it. I'm gonna say like, there's other ways to go about it. You could learn about Careza. You could learn to jump into deeper states of consciousness even within sexuality. AKA, instead of just trying to get your rocks off real quick with a hooker, or trying to get your rocks off real quick by being addicted to sex with other people, or even getting your rocks off overly excessively with yourself, learning how to transmute that energy into better areas of life and into higher ways of life, aka learn more about tantra. You see what I'm saying? Like, if you are having sex with other people, learn more so about tantra. Learn about it. The more you learn into it, that'll put you just in the realm of reality of learning more about it and going into that world to the point where you, even if you're not having sex with somebody that you feel like you really care about, because that's what tantra is about too, you still is gonna switch your vibration, and you're not gonna be such in a lower nature anymore to just want to constantly go out there and do that things. And in tantra, there's many ways that you can learn to transmute your sexual energy through, of course, deep breathing as well, exercise, things that deal with your blood flow, that get your blood circulating, like stretching, yoga, certain mudras you could do, um, certain deep work that you can do. You see what I'm saying? Fulfilling your time and your space more. That stuff that you can do. Um, to transmute that sexual energy. There's many different ways that you can go about it. You see what I'm saying? And that's what I mean when I say find other ways to transmute your sexual energy. Like, sexual transmutation is a very popular and broad topic right now, going on all around the world, media and whatnot. So you can, especially as a man and women now though too, you can definitely go and find out different ways to transmute your sexual energy. And when I say having more other ways to go about it, that's like, say you're a solo person, and say you have a hard time controlling your own sexual energy. So you're not necessarily sexually active with other people, but you have a hard time, like, you always got to get your rocks off, like self pleasure, what you call masturbation, self pleasure, whatever. If you lost into that type of cycle, you learn that there's other ways to go about that. Like, you could talk about like lingam massage. That's a tantric way to go about it. So that way you're storing your energy, you're cultivating your energy, because this is solar elixir energy. This is solar energy. This is what's that word that they say? Orgon energy, which deals with what you manifest in your life too. So if you always draining yourself and you always emptying your root chakra, aka that's what that means. If you always getting your rocks off, especially by yourself, because there's no energetic exchange between the two people, then you're gonna be in a situation where you're gonna be a lot more depleted in your root chakra and depleted in vitality in general too, and you're not gonna be manifesting as much too because you're overly draining your life force, and that deals with your manifestation. Is gonna erupt your manifestation in some type of way and interrupt it. So that's pretty much it. Like I said, I'm gonna get up out of here, but yeah, learning how to deal with addictions and find other ways to deal with your addictions and stuff like that. Everything take time. Nothing happens right overnight and nothing like that. You know what I'm saying? But with that being said, much peace, much love. Shut y'all out. Y'all take it easy. I'll be back. If not tonight, probably. Well, definitely probably tomorrow. You know, see what going on. But yeah, shut y'all out. Take it easy.